If the census instructions I provided to you made sense and you're able to make your population pyramids look like this, then you're fine. You don't need to watch this video. If you were at all confused, let me explain to you how how to get the data, and I'll explain in the second video how to make the presentation. So, census website is one of the most confusing on the internet. There is a tremendous amount of information here. I've used this website for 10 years, and I only know a fraction of what it has, because there's an extraordinary number of things you could do with it. You're going to click from census.gov, click on where it says Census 2000, and then we're going to choose where it says Summary File 1. This is the main data set that has most of the variables we're looking for. Then we're going to scroll down on the page and choose the first link that says Access to all tables and maps in American Fact Finder. Then we're going to use what it suggests and click on Detailed Tables here. So Detailed Tables. Then you're going to choose the service area for your service provider. Most of the time, they'll most likely be the county. It's a fairly wide area, but it can be as small as a 5-digit zip code. So for this example, we'll choose county, then you choose the state, then you choose which county, and so we'll say Los Angeles County, and then I've lost my ability to scroll down. Wonderful. 1 second. Let's see if this will work. Okay, now I can show you. Then there's two things you could do. You could click on Map It, and that'll give you a nice picture that you can use for your presentation. It'll give you a simple map. Hopefully it won't take too long for this to come up. And there's a little trick. You can get any picture off the internet, any website, if you right-click on it. And so there's Los Angeles County, very exciting. Right-click on it and choose Save Image As. So that's if you have a PC. If you have a Mac, it's a little different. But with a PC, you could always right-click and then choose Save Image As, and then save it somewhere, and then you can insert it later as a picture. Not required, but it might make your presentation more interesting. You choose the county, click Add, it'll come in this box, and then Next. And then what we're looking for most of you, you're going to scroll down the list until you get to P12, Sex by Age Total Population. This is going to give us the breakdown of how many people are males and females at each age group for the total population. A few of you are doing service providers that focus only on either Asians or people of Hispanic descent. So for those of you, you'll want to choose your specific ethnic group. So if there is a specific ethnic group that your service provider is targeted, you can choose that here. Okay, but for the vast majority of us, it's total population. And then choose Add. And there's a lot more options we could do, but it gets very complicated. This is the most simple. And then Show Result. And here's the data. So it starts off with males, and then gives you in what is generally 5-year age groups, but not exactly consistent, because for political reasons, sometimes we need to know how many people. 18 is an important age, 21 is an important age, so some of the younger ages are grouped. And then because some benefits are at 60, some at 62, and some at 65, that's also broken down differently. So males first, then females. So what I want you to do is use that Excel file I gave you and retype the information here in the Excel file, and you'll find that the graph will automatically update. So for example, under 5-year-olds, there's 377,819 people in Los Angeles County, and you'll see that my graph down here, the scale got all shifted because one number is much different than the others, but the graph auto-updated. And if I do an old age one, just 1 second, so let's say 62,184 to 184. People that age, we see the effect on the other graphs. So as you type in all the numbers, the graphs will automatically update. Okay, And so for your presentation, you're going to use these graphs. And I want to point out at the bottom of the Excel file, there are these tabs. And each of these is a different worksheet that serves a different purpose. For the vast majority of you, only the first two worksheets are useful. You're going to input the data in the first worksheet, and then you're going to copy and paste the charts, the population pyramids that are generated. Let me undo that so we get more normal. So you're going to copy and paste these population pyramids into a presentation. Okay, and then you can ignore everything that's below these charts. This is a calculation that is copying the numbers that you input above with the number of people in each age group, and we have risk of death, the probability of death at each age group, and estimate the number of deaths we would expect, and then subtract the number of people in that age group that were expected to die, and then age people 5 years every 5. So what I've done is I've projected this given year 2000 data using 5-year death rates and aging people 5 years over 5 to, basically we start with 1,798 people that are 45 to 49 in 2000, and 5 years later we expect that there 40 of them will have most likely passed away, leaving us with 1,758 people that are 5 years older. So just repeat this process over and over and over again for 30 years. Do it separately for males and females because the risk of death is differently for males and females. So you can just ignore all this. This is all just the math. On the second page, these numbers are copied again from what all you have to do is type numbers in the top section here that I circled. That's it. Everything else is copied from there. So these numbers will be copied directly from that front page automatically. It'll give you the number of people that are 65 plus in your data, and then calculate the ratio of people that are 65 plus in 2000, in 2010, and in 2020, and the percent change between 2000 and 2010, and 2010 and 2020. You can ignore these charts. These are just showing again how the age groups shift over each decade. Let me stop here and I'll make another video showing the presentation. I'd like to give you an example now of what I expect for the presentation of your census data. I'm going to use as an example a PowerPoint that was used last year that I modified slightly to incorporate a service provider. And I promised Juan Garcia that I would talk about Puerto Rico in class, and I'd forgotten to do that until this point. So I'm going to use Puerto Rico now as an example based on a presentation a student from Singapore did last year based on Puerto Rico. So make your presentation look as nice as you can with pictures. You can get a map from the census website, but map isn't necessary. Census's website maps are not the most beautiful. I'd like you to tell us a little bit about the agency or the service provider that you chose, a little bit about what they do, who they are, who they serve. That'll be interesting for all of us to learn about these organizations. And then I'd like you to tell us a little bit about their service area. So I'd like you to go back to the census website, and we're going to last time you got your census data through the decennial census. This time we're going to use the American Community Survey to get more recent data. American Community Survey is something that the Census Bureau collects every single year, but it's only a 5% sample. So it has its limitations. It's supposed to be a random 5% selection, so it should be representative, but still the gold standard is using decennial census data when possible, and American Community Survey for supplemental information. So in the corner of census.gov where it says Data Finder, I want you to type the name of the area where you did your project on. It could be the county or the CCD district, whatever that could have been, or zip code. If you did multiple zip codes, just pick one that's in the middle of the area, because it's going to be too much work to do all of them combined. And then click Go, and you'll have some information here. raw numbers as far as 2009, what the population estimate is. But the really interesting data comes from this fact sheet, which is hidden here. And there's a lot of information on this fact sheet. So this is using combined data from 2006, 2007, and 2008. So it's kind of a 3-year moving average. And this will tell you a few more statistics about what's the average household size in that area, a little bit about average income, and what else can be useful? How many people own versus rent. So we know in Los Angeles County 51% of people rent. Information like this. Perhaps if the area has a unique ethnic breakdown, might want to share that. So my student last year picked a few statistics that he thought was of interest, and he took a picture and he said, "Picture taken from theonion.com. I don't recommend using The Onion as a source. It's a satirical newspaper meant for jokes," but he didn't know. So, and then go ahead and present the pyramids. So Puerto Rico is fascinating because there really is no baby boom. And perhaps Juan Garcia can offer a little insight in why not. But normally we would see a big bulge in the population pyramid in middle age, and we don't see that in Puerto Rico. So so the aging of population is unique in Puerto Rico, though we see that between 2000 and 2020 there will be some increase in terms of the raw numbers of people, but not a dramatic change in the shape. So, and we have some statistics showing us here about how that change is occurring, how the ratio of males to females is changing over time, and the growth of the older population. So he found that 131% increase in the population 65 plus and 142% increase in the population 85 plus over 20 years. So that's in a nutshell what I hope. So we'll learn a little bit about the area that you chose, a little bit about a service provider, and provide some useful information about that community and how that community might be changing.